I'm on my way down to Melbourne doing another pickup run. So today I've got a few things to pick up. Basically I'm going to have 200 or 300 kilos in the back of the car, and I'm going to be towing about 1.4 tonne back. So I'm going to have about including passengers and that, 1.8 or 1.9 tonne in the vehicle as a payload on the return, including the trailer. So it'll be a decent load. So I hope you enjoy watching that. As you can see, the usual setup, or as you will see, the usual setup will be the camera at the front pointing towards the road so you can see where I'm going. Camera pointing towards the steering wheel so that you can see that I'm not fiddling with the wheel while we're driving along, and recording the screen of the Eon so that you can see what it sees and all the beautiful data that's on that screen now. That's about it. Keep watching if you want to see that, and I'll be rambling about a lot of things on the way there. So if you're in for a reasonable video, say, I don't know, you'll find out because I haven't recorded yet, but I'm guessing it'll be half an hour to an hour, somewhere along that. Should be a decent watch. Thanks, guys. Alright, so we're on our way home. Car's all loaded up. Trailer's actually quite heavy. A lot heavier than expected. I might drop it on the weighbridge on the way so we can see what it actually is. Otherwise, here we are, we're cruising along. Openpilot's driving, but I'm not on cruise control. I'm controlling the go. So I've got, accelerator and brake under my control. I can enable cruise control at any point, but in traffic like this, I actually prefer to be the one in control of the accelerator and the brake. But we're now on cruise control, and adaptive cruise control is going to work just fine. It's going to slow us down and increase our gap. But like I said, I prefer to be the one that controls the go and no go when it's busier traffic. But the steering, no, that's fine. So we got about a 3.5 hour trip return, and as usual, I'm not really going to be doing much. Openpilot does pretty much everything for me. So recording today, I've got the E4K, which is pointing at the steering wheel for all the non-believers. Oh, hang on. Bang. Okay. Now we've got Eon recording, so you just... Actually, I'll start again. So, no, anyway, yeah, Eon's recording now, so... I don't know how we're going to sync that one up. But anyway, sorry about missing that for the start.
In 700 meters, speed camera ahead, 100 kilometers per hour speed limit.
So, if you look at the screen of the Eon, we'll actually go through everything that's on it. So starting with the top left, Max 91. Why it's called Max 91, I don't really know, but that's to do with the cruise control, what the set cruise control speed is. So if I hit resume, it's 91 on the dash, it's 91 there. So that's your cruise control set speed.
On Western Ring Road for about 10 kilometers.
Then on the left, we've got some specs of the phone. 77 degrees, 81 degrees, whatever. That's the CPU temperature. 43 is the battery temperature. Then we got the GPS precision. That's coming from the Panda. So that's not the GPS in the phone, that's the GPS in the Panda. And then we've got the percentage of space free on the device. On the right hand side, you got rel dist is relative distance. That's the distance between me and that truck in front of us. Relative speed, that's what it thinks this truck's doing relative to us. So it reckons it's doing 0 to -1 less than us, and considering the adaptive cruise control on this is slowing us down, we're going to believe that it's actually doing a pretty good job. So that's actually using the mock radar. That's not a real radar. We're not getting data from the radar in this car. That's coming purely from vision data.
Left lane ends, merge right ahead.
Actually, everything on the right hand side is. So, just making sure I was on the right road. Now, next one is your steer. That is the position of the steering wheel. So you can see that if I wiggle the steering wheel, that's all over the shop. So that's the actual steering wheel position. And then the death steer is the desired steer. And that's the position we want the steering wheel to be. And obviously you've got to apply torque to the steering wheel to get it to achieve what you want it to be. So you can see that it's really accurate, really, really accurate. And that's why the steering wheel looks so good while we're driving, is because it's doing what it's told to do. Down the bottom we got REC and a little lock. That's to record the screen of the Eon, and the lock is so that it doesn't delete my videos once I start aging. So I want to keep all the video that it records. I don't care about the space it's taking. Now, starting at the top left of the buttons, I can't believe it's driving along this road. So the first one is ALC. You'll see that that's advanced lane change. Apparently I'm going to crash. Advanced lane change is set to Mad Max. That's basically where it drives best at the moment. And then we've got the cam off. That means that I'm not using the stock camera. Now, the stock camera is still being used for things like emergency braking and stuff, but it is not being used for lane departure warning or lane keep assist. So when that's off, that means that it's running purely off Openpilot. Now the only reason I've got that off at the moment is I'm testing to make sure basically that it all works, because I'm about to push this port public. It obviously works when it's on, so you can see I've turned it on and it's working. And if I push that, now if I cancel cruise control, turn off cruise, we've still got a green icon. We're now steering. It is so garbage. It's come on, you unreliable stock crap. It's so scary. Okay, it is steering. It is steering. I'm not touching the steering wheel. God, it's going to kill us. Okay, we're not using that. Okay, we're back under Openpilot. So, either way, there's no point in having it because the stock system's garbage. And then Mad is the way that you saw me driving this by cancelling cruise control and Openpilot still steering, and I can use my accelerator and brake. That's Mad. Absolutely mad. Hence why the button's called Mad. And then the last one is sound. That's the Eon making sounds. Basically, little dungs as it activates, deactivates, warning sounds, things like that. So if I cancel it, I get a little... Well, actually I didn't get anything. Better re-enable it, otherwise we'll go off the road.
Left lane ends, merge right ahead.
So, the little green icon on the top right, I guess that means it's steering. It's irrelevant. The little yellow arrow, that's what the vision is detecting the vehicle in front of me. He believes that it's there. Well, it's correct. That's where the relative data comes from. The two white lines at the side is the best that vision can determine the lines to be. So and that's where it gets its steering angle from. Well, actually it doesn't get a steering angle, it gets a projection, like a angle, a vector. And then you've got the white line and the green line. The green line's where it predicts that we're going to steer the vehicle, and that's basically everything there. There's a little icon on the bottom left, you probably can barely see it, a little picture of a face. That's passenger monitoring. Depending on the country you're in, it may actually be driver monitoring, but in Australia that's a passenger monitor. So what it basically does, it looks to make sure that the passenger's watching the road, and if the passenger ever looks away from the road,
700 meters,
it warns you that the driver's
km/h speed limit.
It warns you that the driver's distracted, so the passenger has to keep their eyes on the road. Otherwise it'll deactivate the system. It makes sense if you're in a different country, but in Australia it's one of the dumbest things there is. They've mentioned that they're considering fixing it. I mean, it's about a whole nothing job for them to fix. It's just a little toggle switch, and then just flip the image like they use. Is this truck coming over too far? No, but definitely was questioning it. I've got to exit soon. So here's the automatic lane change. So it brings us over nicely. So obviously I could have used a momentary blinker to do that as well. I'm not going to go that fast, just 100. The traffic's going slow. So I thought this part of Melbourne might be the best. I'll go back in front of that truck now to keep this lane clear for people that are coming over. Come on, lane change, you can do it. and it did do it. So it's,
Left lane ends. Merge right ahead.
I've been working on the lane change. I've tuned it a little bit. It's not what
Left
I'd call
lane ends.
100%.
Merge right ahead.
The car's navigation is the most annoying thing in the world.
In 1 kilometre, take the exit on
I gotta
left
take
to
that
Western
exit, so
Freeway.
I'll move over.
Keep right.
Yeah, I mean Mad Max. It loves lane changing. I didn't need to change lanes, but it's fun when it does it itself. So I'm going to actually clear this because I'm curious on what my economy is going to be. Because I did about 5.8 or 5.9 litres per 100k on the way here, which is quite good to be honest. It's lower than usual. I had tailwind and it's wet and cool weather, which always helps as well. Not wet as in wet road, just higher humidity and cooler weather. So turbo likes it. Everything just sucks and blows really well. And that's effectively all the engineers, just a sucker and a blower. So this is from my understanding about the limit of what you can get if you get a Honda. That, 8 degrees or so in the steering. Which means that if you get a Honda, you're actually going to be quite happy with it because there's not many corners you come up with that are more severe than this. Honestly, I think it's not enough because there's corners that I still limit out on at higher speeds, which is 10 or 11 degrees. And I wish it had more torque. So being limited to 8 is actually really, really bad. And having said that, what have we seen it get to? 8 once or twice so far on this nice big sweep. I think regardless of what brand car you got, you're going to be happy with this system.
Merge right ahead.
Now, the way that this jerks back, that's not actually so much a tuning. I'm going to play around with a few settings to see if I can reduce that. But basically what it is that it starts reducing the torque, and as it reduces the torque, the steering wheel actually jerks that way itself. So I'm going to put my foot on the brake, lane change.
Continue on Western Freeway.
Okay.
150 kilometres.
It was going to jump 2 lanes. It's not always perfect. So, like I said, that's something I'm working on. Now, the reason that actually started to happen, and I've had it happen before, is before it started increasing its angle, Vision saw that we should have been merging across because of the solid left line. And as a result, it amplified the angle needed, and basically everything just goes yuck. At least that's my understanding as to what's going on in those situations. The window's again dirty. I apologise. I really struggle to keep the window in this car clean because, well, it turns out that I drive the thing. And it's getting to that time of year where bugs like to get squacked on the windscreen and it's just there, so not much we can do about that. So, again, I haven't put cruise control back on. We'll put it back in control. So far it looks like we're doing about 7.6 litres per 100k, 8.3.
Left lane ends. Merge right ahead.
It's a very aerodynamic load that I've got behind me. So while it's heavy, it's very, very aerodynamic. So it wouldn't surprise me if it does remain being nice and low like that. The first half of this trip is always the higher drinking part because it's where the hills are. Second half's all flat. So this is realistically what we're going to see.
What?
So we're going to stop for some drinks, and then I might go and show some more video later. And I'll actually show it coming into the servo. That's a little Axel talking, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, he come for a trip today with me. Come to Melbourne. We've been to 3 places. Picked up all of our stuff and on our way back. And he spent we're going back to Horsham.
Yes.
And yeah, I'd imagine it'd be a very boring day, but he's got my Switch, so he's been playing Switch all day, haven't you, Axel? Yeah.
Oh, it's up to us.
It's crap. I really don't enjoy city driving. Even though I'm not driving, it annoys me that It's slow. I don't like driving slow. Even when I'm not the one driving, I don't enjoy driving slow. So I'm a lot less tolerant of this than I should be. There's one thing I've noticed is the lane, whatever they call it, lane change warning, blind spot warning, blind spot assist, God knows what they call it. The stupid bloody radar they've got on the right and left hand rear bumper of the vehicle that detects the vehicles coming towards you is not working properly today. It is working absolutely fine on my right hand side and on my left hand side. Apparently there's never a car beside me. I was driving down the road for ages with a truck beside me and it couldn't see anything. So trying to test my lane change assist that it doesn't drive into another car is actually rather difficult. If I turn it on now, you can see lane not clear. Now it's changing. I'm going to cancel that. Now I'll let it change. So it was correct. It was waiting. It was doing what it's meant to. So I know that it works here, but I don't yet know whether it works going to the left because it's the car's playing up. I'm glad the car's under warranty. Driving past, no car. Oh, it detected it. It detected it only for about 1 second of it going past. So when it was right next to the radar. And I went out and I checked the radars, and the radars are all clean, so it's not that. So I don't really know what it is, where the radar's not... Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about that radar and how it works. But what I do know is that it's not working, so that's bad. And we're going to have to get that fixed. And that's actually going to be the first warranty job on this car. And we've done 21,216 kilometres. Not true, actually it had 15 kilometres on it when I got it. So I've done 3 kilometres now. And take 15 kilometres off. That was done by the sales reps and getting it off the boat and them doing burnouts in the yard for 15 Ks. Actually, there's zero chance of them doing burnouts in the yards for 15 Ks because this car is gutless. I mean, it's yeah. I don't think it could spin its wheels in dirt. Great car to drive. It's nice and comfy.
Merge right ahead.
It's extremely good on fuel, but it's gutless. It really is. It's gutless. It's a gutless diesel. It's got heaps of torque. It's a great towing machine, but it's gutless. I really, really recommend the vehicle, but don't expect a car. You're getting a great big boat, and that's just a fact. You're getting a boat. You're not getting a nice car. Realistically, I'm used to driving reasonably good cars, not great cars. I mean, I've never been one for buying new cars. It's the first new car I've ever bought. I'll be buying a Tesla soon. That'll be the second new car I've ever bought. But I've always had older cars because I just haven't cared much for them. Like I had a Toyota Supra, loved it. The twin turbo JZ880, beautiful car. I really liked it. And then I stuffed around with it. I got a track ready. I did all the modifications to it. I took it to the track and I was getting pretty good lap times in it, to be honest, considering the weight of them and the skill level of my driving, because I've done racing. I've done years of racing, but I'm above average, and leave it at that. Well, I'm a fair bit above average, but I am far from what you'd call good. And yeah, I was still getting pretty good lap times, and it was a good car. But obviously, in the process of doing that, I made sacrifices.
Merge right ahead.
I wanted to tune the engine differently, so I ended up putting a different computer in it. The computer was a mongrel to tune, so it ended up being tuned great for when I was flooring it around the track. So between 3,000 and 6,500 revs, that was beautiful. Tried driving around the street and it started to become a bit of a mongrel. So then, I got myself a little Lancer and blew that, made that thing a bit faster, and then I got rid of that, got myself a Prelude as a nice little car to play with. Either way, I've always had nice-ish cars, in the sense that, they're responsive when you put your foot down, they've actually got a bit of power and they're enjoyable. For work, I had an SUV, our Ford Territory. For the people that aren't in Australia, it is what it is. It's a Google it. That's all I can say. Google it. Come on, you can lane change into this. Oh yeah, look at that. Put the foot on the brake. It's going to drive us straight. No, I don't need fuel. I got a full tank. Drives us straight into here. I didn't have to touch the steering wheel. So, I mean, how cool is that? I'm still struggling with oscillations at low speeds. Thought it was going to, and that's where vision fails. Now, to be honest, if we had the old Wiggly Pilot, I just about guarantee we would have gotten through that. Now, this is still fighting me. All I got to do is push that. It's not fighting me anymore. So we'll drive through here and park and
Route recalculating.
get my son and myself something to drink.
Continue on current road for more than 50 kilometres.
And I'll talk to you guys later. And if not, thanks for watching. And I'll still talk to you guys later. See ya. Yeah, after this drink. Thought I'd turn it on here so that you get some views as to what, get some views. It's still basically only the outskirts of Melbourne, and it looks a lot better at different times of the year when things are actually a bit more green. You got vineyards down to the left, and I have no idea what's out to the right. Nothing from the looks of it. But yes, this is going through the mountains on the outskirts of Melbourne.
We're going down the mountain.
We are going down the mountain, aren't we? Yeah, I don't know what's up there. A church, obviously. Yeah, anyway. Maybe they're building a church. Voice is a bit weird because I got a cold. Kids got it, well, I guess it's a cold. Could be a flu, but kids got it a couple of days ago, and as they are, when they're sick, they want cuddles, they want loving, they want to spread the disease, and they spread the disease, and I got the disease, and now I'm diseased. It's not bad, but yuck is how I feel. Not horribly yuck, just yuck. So yeah, my voice, that's a bit weird because I've got probably the flu. So again, I'm sorry about the dirty windscreen, and the bugs are that good on there. If I try washing it, which I'll do, and as you can see in the camera, I'm absolutely slathering it, trying to get the schmutz off the screen, deschmutzing, and despite my best efforts of deschmutzing with that, I still schmutzed. Yeah, it's still covered in gunk. It's still ooky. Yep, those bugs, they're to stay. Yep, one more off. So there we go. Made no difference at all. So, this is what Victoria looks like. Victoria in Australia, southern Australia. Coming into summer. We're, what, 4th, 5th day of summer at the moment. And that other good fellow, voice noise, that's my son, that's Axel.
Yes.
Yes, that's Axel. And we're on our way home, aren't we?
Yes.
Yep. You're about to see us go through
What's
Bacchus.
that town over there?
The what?
Town.
That town, that's Bacchus Marsh. You see that big sign?
Yes.
That says Bacchus Marsh in Gisborne. This isn't Gisborne, this is Bacchus Marsh. But if you take this exit and keep driving, you get to Gisborne.
So which one are we going to?
Straight through the middle of them. We don't care for either of them. We're just going to keep on going. We're supposed to be going at 110, and I'm going at... This is the problem with adaptive cruise control, is you don't actually notice that... Like, unless you're paying attention, you don't actually... That was the worst place to have enabled that. You don't actually notice that you've... Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to work. You don't actually notice when you get stuck behind somebody slow, because
Merge right ahead.
at least the way that Kia have done it, it's so gradual and slow and smooth, you don't notice that you've slowed down until you look at the speed and like, oh, I'm doing 10 k's less than I thought I should be. This car cuts in front of me, and we'll slow down because I've got 2 squares, and 2 squares is about 40 meters that this wants to keep. So we'll actually go through the key as distances. We'll go to one. I don't adjust this often. We'll go to 1 square distance, which is that. Oh, now I turned it off. That's not the button either. God, I'm an idiot. Resume at 113, 114, because then it'll go 1 square. Right. So 1 square, and the relative distance that we get on Openpilot can be our guide as to what our distance that the car actually wants to sit is.
Left lane ends. Merge right ahead.
Now, according to the manual, I think it's meant to be about 30 meters, and it looks like it's doing 27. Now, looking at my guesstimate of distance, it's more like 25. Maybe it's more. Either way, that's 1 square. We go to 2 squares. And we're accelerating now, so that looks like, yeah, it's about 30 meters that it's going to keep us. We're at 40 now, and it's flooring us like, oh, my diesel power needed more gears changed down because I got no power, I need more revs. I've got heaps of torque, but the torque's no good because the engine's barely turning over while I've got it. Yep, so 30 odd meters. We'll go to 3 squares. And our distance should increase, but we're still accelerating towards our target. Go figure. Come on, equalise out. I'm doing this on a hill. Really, that's not the place to be doing it. I don't remember what these are meant to be from the manual, but it looks like it's targeting about 40 metres. Would you say somewhere there, 40?
Yes, we are. I do it on the hill.
So I've gone to 4 squares of distance now. The car's just floored it towards that. It's struggling on the hill. It's ping-ponging like crazy. It's like, and then by the time it catches up to whatever its set distance is, it's going that fast. And then it changes down gears. Then it doesn't have the power. It's got a fair bit of weight behind it. I think that's about the distance it usually tries to sit at. So that says 57 metres. I'd say it's about right. And it's a good distance to sit on the road. So I usually have the thing at 3. 3's, to be honest, where I reckon the right number is. But like I said, the problem is that I forget that adaptive cruise control is in control because it slows you down so smoothly. Like it picks it up at maybe 140 metres, I reckon, and it starts slowing you down at maybe 80 metres away, and it gradually slows you down. When you're only slowing down 10 k's and it slows you down gradually over 40 metres, you don't really notice it. A little jerk on the brake then because the adaptive cruise control picked up the truck and thought that was in my lane. So I'm going to leave this video here. I don't have much space on my memory cards, unfortunately, so I can't be recording a lot, but I thought you'd like the view here because it's not a bad looking part of Victoria. It's not as green as it usually is. As it comes around here, it's not a bad time of day either. Nice big rolling green fields. Well, they're not green, yellowy, almost dead fields. Some animals out there. I guess they're cows. Angus. Yeah. So guys, Thanks for watching.